Hello, welcome. Boxing this week. We are here. We are live on two platforms this week. We've actually got Instagram going, so it's fine. We've got both intro. We've got everything working this week so far, but it's also a big week. So I'm glad it is because we've got Devin Haney versus Ryan-Garcia confirmed. We kind of thought it was confirmed last week, but it is. Isaac Chamberlain pulls out a Vidal Riley fight. We've got drama with Boxer, and we've got Dalton Smith, Diego Pacheco, 10-hour long DAZN Matchroom fight week. But first of all, we're live on YouTube and Instagram. Hooked Casuals. Don't say that. Yes, we are. I can see it. No, we are. We are. Someone's just joined. Let's talk about it, pod. Hello, welcome. See? We are live, Paolo. I swear, if we're not, I'm going to drop dead, man. There's too much going on. Cool. There we go. Right. We have maintenance going as well. Huge week. Let's start off with Dalton Smith and Diego Pacheco, because there's not too much to talk about with this. These are two prospects that need to get through this fight, and then we're potentially talking about world titles soon. Now, really all I want to talk about, look, the fight should go Dalton Smith, Diego Pacheco. They should both win. I don't see an outcome where they don't. It'd be a big upset. What do you make of this sort of undercard to main card in the UK, and then undercard to to main card in America, and we're going, basically you could sit there for 10 hours straight just boxing? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Mm.
Probably not. So we got to give thanks to him, man. I'm gonna call him His Excellency. That's what I'm calling him.
I think you have to. It's always,
Yeah.
mate, it's Turkey. Turkey always. Um,
I need to go Turkey soon, though. Wow, look at that. Sorry, go on, carry on.
nah, you're alright, I think.
Let us know,
It ain't Mo Salah last year or Ben White, Rob Holding. Those aren't needed it. I think you're
Ben
okay.
White's crazy. Yeah. I hear it. Come
So
back, a new man, though. Big up to him.
yeah, he still can't play football, but
yeah,
that is what it is. No, you're right. But this is the real question, because this personally, I'll be honest, I'm not doing this. Are you actually going to watch it for the 10 hours? Oh, well, good timing on that, because he's just dropped out. Uh, yeah, yeah, Yeah. No, it's true as well. That little moaning mentality that boxing fans as a whole have needs to go. Like, really needs to go. Yeah. 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 No, you're right. You're right. 100%. I know we're at the point now where we've got this card coming up. We're basically exactly a month out from Bivol Beterbiev 2, which we should probably announce now. We are, I assume we are. We're doing another live stream for that. Watch along, because I think we have to. The first one was amazing, and this event is just so much better. But that event is beyond good. From the first fight of the night, like it's the point where we're getting like you. If you're a casual fan, you would be in there for the first fight of the night. That's the level we're at with that. Um, Fury Usyk 2 undercard. It wasn't the same level. Nobody's trying to say it is, but equally lay off a little bit. You still got Dave Allen versus Johnny Fisher, great fight. You still had Moses Atalma, Dempsey McKean, which that fight was mental, just in the way Moses did his job, but did his job in such a fashion, deadly fashion. You did. I mean, that prediction was on point. Um, no, but boxing fans need to stop complaining. Let's talk about really we're not the events themselves this week are good. It's nothing. Again, I'm being spoiled, but it's nothing special this weekend. Except the Diego Pacheco and Dalton Smith are potentially special fighters. Dalton Smith will get a world title shot after this. That's confirmed now. Do you think that's too early, or do you think he's ready? Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's young. Yeah, but Bivol's Bivol, isn't it? I mean, that's another. I'm still convinced Bivol will go down as a generational light heavyweight, even if he loses to Beterbiev again. Beterbiev's going to be one of the best ever. So is Bivol. Um, no, you're right. And then with Pacheco, we're kind of looking at a similar thing where he wins this fight and he's set up really to fight Canelo or William Skull. Um, but with Pacheco, it's a bit different because he is not going to get that shot as quickly as he maybe should. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Nah. Exactly. And if he really wants, he'll go and win it again. You don't think what Canelo can't beat William Skull? No, he can. He can do what he wants. And the IBF will bend over backwards if Canelo says I want to fight for it. So, mm, yeah, No, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge fight. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're talking. The problem is, you've still got guys like Caleb Plant there who want that IBF title. They're all looking at the IBF. They'll go to get the IBF, and that forces the fight with Canelo. Yeah, there's very few. Yeah, no, they'll fight absolutely anyone. Yeah, yeah. He's got the backstory as well. Like, yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, you have to be special to beat Caleb Plant, and then that's talking Benavidez or Canelo. But yeah, no, everyone's looking at William Skull and saying you're the easy fight out of the two, and you're the one that I beat you, and then I'll get Canelo, which is a fair enough. Pardon? Yeah, yeah, he's fighting soon, I believe, but I don't know who against. I don't even know if that's announced. I think that's just it's been ordered, whether or not it's happened. But what email champ? Yeah, yeah. Just be vacant till they fight. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, I agree. It's no, I agree. Um, if you look, I've been doing it at work. It's a habit now. Wait, you got what the Caroline Dubois, Daniel Dubois, sort of. I mean, he kind of beat Hergovich for the world title, but technically wasn't a world title. Yeah, well, yeah, but he beat Joshua, but he walked into the ring as a world champ. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. But then that's not the point, is it? It also it takes away from him. Imagine the feeling if he beat Joshua the way he did, and then that was him winning the world title. Nah, nah. Yeah, of course. And a lot of them deserve it. It's when you get fighters that get it on email and then they lose because they were never really that level. It's just the rankings are done wrong, and it was like, oh, who we got to pick? Oh, this. Oh, okay. Like William Skull, with all due respect, is not that level in that division. Yeah, but look, Diego Pacheco probably beats Skull. David Morrell, David Benavidez can drop down in division and definitely beat him. Caleb Plant beats him. Canelo beats him. Even like Munguia, Balanga, they probably beat him and all. So we're talking about a guy he's an elite boxer, William Skull, no doubt about it, and potentially he could be that level, but there's no proof of that yet, and yet he's a world champion because the rankings are done so poorly. I mean, we're not going to talk about the rankings again and again and again. Well, we will, but not again tonight. But again, we have this issue where those rankings are causing problems. Pacheco's got a long way to go before he becomes world champ, but he's more than good enough. I mean, he's got some skills. The way he can punch, he creates angles as well. Like he's a serious talent, but we'll have to wait. Oh, worth mentioning, Andy Cruz returns this weekend actually on the undercard for Diego Pacheco. So we've got Keyshawn Davis fighting for a world title in 2 weeks' time, and we've got Andy Cruz fighting 20-1. Can't remember his name, but Andy Cruz is fighting soon. Andy Cruz, therefore, I believe, setting himself up to be a mandatory. Him versus Keyshawn, professional rematch. Andy Cruz is 5-0 in the amateurs against him, 4-0. Let's see how they do in the pros. I mean, that is a massive fight. That's got Saudi card written all over it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying, but it's always going to happen. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Talking about that card's changing slightly, but I do believe it might still be going ahead. I'm not sure if that's what's going on there. I don't know if they're going to find an opponent for Vidal, or is he just not fighting? But knowing Vidal, he'll just want to fight, keep active. He might see that as an advantage, whereas Isaac might not have an advantage. Obviously, the risk being that he could lose, but I mean, I doubt Boxer are going to put him in there with anyone that's going to threaten that Isaac Chamberlain fight.
They're saying that Vidal's not fighting. 258 management they looked around and they've not found anyone. So it looks like that's done, but which it's a shame. It's one thing to have them not fight, which I do understand, because look, clearly Chamberlain's injured. I can understand why Vidal's annoyed, especially if he feels he's not been given a reason. But Isaac Chamberlain does not come across as a guy that's going to pull out of a fight for no reason.
Nah, it's Isaac's prerogative also to. He doesn't need to tell him let's be brutally honest here. When it comes down to it, if Isaac's pulled out because he's injured, which is true, I can say that. Does he really? Outside of the reasoning, surely Vidal must know what's happened, maybe publicly or maybe not. But if he's pulled out injured, he's injured. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
it's a difficult one. It's you kind of, yes, you want an answer, but you're not warranted it. You're not owed it. It's a boxer's prerogative what they share and don't share, right? So that's politics. So that's boxing politics.
I'll be honest. I disagree. I think we don't need to know as fans. We don't need to know. It'd be nice to know because it helps, but we don't need to. Your opponent, Vidal Riley, should have been given a reason. The way he's describing, he's not been told anything.
Yeah, but hear what I'm saying, Connor. Yeah, if the doctor, which the doctor probably he definitely would have got involved in the decision making. has advised him not to fight. This is a doctor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's not any more reasoning than that, in my opinion. Like, I get what you're
Mm.
saying, but
I'm not saying that they should have like
he
a.
doesn't have to share it. But yeah, I understand. He could, he could have shared something, but it's his choice
Well,
at the end of the day.
I'm to be honest, I'm not Isaac Chamberlain. I've not got a problem with. Like, I don't believe he's pulling out, and he's not scared. Let's not do that. We're at a level where we've got fighters that are not scared of anyone.
Well, Isaac's not scared to fight. I can
No,
tell you that now.
exactly. But that's the thing. We're not talking about. It doesn't. Regardless, we have this conversation. Not us, but just generally, boxing fans have this conversation sometimes, and it's like we're talking about elite fighters. Do you think they're
Yeah,
scared of
yeah.
each other? No, they're not. They're not scared. They're scared of nothing.
No,
There's not. There's
yeah,
not. There's nobody that they will ever walk down the street across from and go, "Oh, that's a bit scared." Never going to happen. But what I think is
yeah,
deserved for Vidal Riley is an explanation. The way he's describing the situation, and this is on Boxer. This is not on Isaac Chamberlain. This is on Boxer. Is that he's just been told Isaac's injured, the fight's off. That's all he's been. And if that's true, that's such poor management.
yeah. I understand what you're saying, but then do you know what it is? He's got he's got a good team around him who'd be able to advise what the best scenario was. I would imagine Mick Hennessy would have had a say in what was advised, what was said, and obviously that's a man who's been in boxing for long before I was born in it. So, do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He knows he's in Isaac's corner, like managing. He would have been speaking to probably Ben, as would Isaac. They have their reasoning of what they share and what they don't share.
Yeah, of course.
But you could argue as well that sharing the reason or the injury that you've got could give then that fighter the advantage, thinking that he comes back and he's at 50%, or they're going to target something, or if he needs surgery done. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, sharing it with Vidal, it's like you're playing your cards or showing your cards as well. So that
Yeah. I mean,
there's that
I
as well.
get that, but I think you lose that privilege when you're the one that has to pull out, whether it's your fault or not. And I'm not. I don't know. It has to work both ways, right?
Yeah,
But either way, what we do know for sure is that the situation is a little bit messy, and the middleman. Look, Vidal and Isaac are getting ready to hurt each other. They're not going to like each other, no matter how Isaac could come up with the best explanation in the world. Vidal won't like it, and it could happen the other way around, and it will be the exact same. But the boxer should have done more to ensure that. Well, actually, I don't know. Now I'm saying it. The promote because when they do fight later on in the year, the promotion for that fight is done now.
mm.
So in a way, maybe they're doing their job in a weird way of being a promoter, but I don't like it personally. And we got some more to talk about with Boxer, a story that I'm not as familiar with, but we've got Fran Hennessy, Savannah Marshall. We've got a little bit more to go on, which is more of. I think this is more for you to talk about because I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, man. Oh, we got a obviously, big them up. From what I understand, and I just need to double check it. Obviously, Fran is fighting, or has been told she's going to be fighting in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, I think that's on because Vidal Isaac supposed his card was after this, wasn't it? So this is at the start of March, I want to say. But then Callum Smith's also fight. It might be on the Callum Smith card actually. Let me just double check that because he's
So
fighting.
I think March 1st is Lauren Price and Natasha Jonas, which I believe they're at the conference for this week.
Yeah, and then Boxer's got an upcoming card. Bear me a second. So this basically what's happened is Fran's turned up to a press conference and it's the Azim. Yes, sorry. So Adam Azim is fighting
Sergey
um,
Lipnets.
Sergey Lipnets.
Right.
We are looking at. Well, again, this is the problem. We're like 2 weeks out from the fight, and we don't know, as far as I'm aware, the full undercard.
No, I don't think so.
It's not really good organisation, to be honest, in my opinion. But yeah, it happens though. It does happen in boxing, so I can't look too much into that. But she was at a press conference and wasn't pulled up to the table, man. I just seen that today. Wasn't pulled up to the table at all, although she's meant to be fighting on the card. They've asked her to travel to the press conference. Savannah's come down, and I'm guessing Savannah will be fighting soon. But even what she's done in boxing, she's not sort of having that conversation on the table as well. Fran's obviously unhappy because, if you've been asked to fight and you've not even kind of been called up to announce it, and supposedly she's meant to be fighting a world champion as well.
Right.
So quite a big fight for her because I'd imagine she would have got a title for that. So if she'd win it, but that fight is not happening for various reasons. The world champions pulled out, so they must be looking for, I'd imagine, another opponent for her. But I don't know the full story because it's just come in. I've just seen it in the last hour, but it goes back to my point of saying I think she's had like the worst luck on boxer. Like bearing in mind she's been in some really tough fights, yeah.
Yeah.
But the exposure that she doesn't seem to be getting on these shows, and I'm speaking freely as just my opinion from as a consumer. I went and watched her fight at the Wembley Arena, and it was meant to be televised, and it wasn't. It wasn't televised. So she was probably one of the first fights of the night,
Right.
and I just think that these fighters have a lot of stardom and star power, and I feel like once you've won a title like she's won, I think they've got to give her a bit more exposure than they're giving her,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Because all that will happen is he carries on this way, and she's a very marketable fighter. Do you know what I mean? She just done all that stuff with the Sidemen as well. Was it the Sidemen? No, sorry, not the
Channel.
Sidemen.
She did Channel 4, right?
Channel 4, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Channel 4 with a lot of like quite big like sort of influences in terms of the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
She's getting a lot of commercial TV, and it's only going to grow her profile. So it comes a point where it's like you become like a Vidal Riley, where he's so big on the internet that you have to put him high up in the cards if you want him to fight. Can't have Vidal Riley fighting the start of the night.
Nope.
And I do feel like she's near at that point now. I definitely feel like she's at the point where they should have moved her up the card more. But it doesn't seem to be happening. And probably as a fan of probably just what she's done, what she's doing as a prospect coming up, it's it's not good to see. You know what I mean? There's fighters I like watching. I'd have the same reaction with fighters they're not where I think they should be. Do you know what I mean? And it's just bit. Can you imagine the frustration from her side not getting the maybe exposure and stuff like that?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm just having a look now. Her last fight, which was the third fight of the night,
Yeah.
and we're talking about. I can't go on her Instagram at the moment because I'm live, but I want to say she's got a decent following. I know that. I know she's got a decent following on TikTok as well. Like
I'm telling you, man, she tapped into the new generation social media fighters. She's up to 80,000 followers on Instagram.
that's a big follow. That's big following, and that does
Yeah.
convert. That does convert. So yeah, no, yeah, it's tough. Women's fighting's a weird one though, in that it is so much. The actual quality of the fights are so far ahead of where the promotion is, and I think what's happened, and I believe this is that we've got to a point where we've gone back in 2021, where the promotion almost matched the level where you had all women cards. Which we don't need all men cards or all women cards. Just mix it.
They're doing another one soon, you know.
Yeah, is it the Lauren Price one? Natasha Jonas. Is that going to be all? I think that's an all women card, but I can't remember. But the point is, we don't need that. It's marketable, right? You put it on International Women's Day. You put it on whatever, it sells. So I do get that, but it seemed like that was the height of it in 2021. And then they kind of like, cool, we're done now. And don't get me wrong, these women are getting platform, but then equally, Francesca Hennessy was fighting on the fight before Jamie Shisk, TKV, because I'm just going to struggle to say his surname.
TKV,
yeah. Jamie TKV is a good fighter. Not denying that. He is a good fighter. But look at the two of them as prospects. Who's going to go further, Francesca Hennessy or Jamie TKV? Francesca Hennessy all day long. Look who's got the bigger following, Francesca Hennessy. How, like, I don't know if I'm missing something or we don't know something, but should be higher up.
Do you know what it is? Can I be honest with you?
Yeah,
There's a bias there, um, and I disagree with it because Francesca Hennessy is obviously the in terms of her weight. Uh, in the smaller of the divisions, no doubt they're still explosive. Size don't make a difference. I watched some of the fights and they're taking lumps out of each other,
mm.
and he's showing good boxing as well. She had a tough fight in the last one. Crystal Palace fight was tough as well. So obviously, Jamie TKV is a heavyweight. They're trying to push. It's clear that boxers are pushing. Obviously, they're trying to push the heavyweights more, and I get it. But you can't forget about the other people, especially when you got someone like her who's churning over the numbers they're churning
Yeah,
on social media. Listen, I keep mentioning social media. Listen, social media plays a big part in boxing. Some of these don't get on these platforms if their social media is not thriving.
yeah,
They can't sell the tickets. They can't. You know, what I mean, she has a lot of people turn up for her shows and t-shirts a lot. Do you know what I mean? But these people don't get on these platforms without a big following. Do you know what I mean? That is the bottom of it. If you can't sell yourself and sell tickets, the promoter's got no interest in putting you on. It might cost more than
mm.
it's worth. You won't get a lot of money negotiating wise on deals because you're the B side all the time. I feel like for a lot of boxers in her division, she's probably the A side now.
Yeah.
Seriously, because undefeated fighter,
A lot of them, yeah.
and obviously going back to France, undefeated fighter, WBA continental champion, 80,000 followers on Instagram, TikTok, to YouTube, to Channel 4, all these commercial deals. She's marketable and big in that instance. So what do? You have to put them higher up on the card.
Yeah.
You have to, and she's a good boxer, by the way. Sorry, forgot to mention that. So you've got all of that in one package. It's very hard to find a complete package. Do you know what I mean? Tyson Fury is a complete package. Joshua's probably a complete package in every aspect of what he can do. So could Tyson Fury. All these people. When we talk about Savannah Marshall is another one, very marketable. When you talk about the female fighters, you got the Katie Taylor, Natasha Jonas.
Yeah. Serrano,
Um,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Caroline Dubois is kind of like the boxing terms is there, and she's made a big name for herself now, being a world champion, and the social media follow, and because of her name and everything else, it's a package, right? But I look at all these fighters, and I no disrespect, but bar obviously Fury and Joshua, who we know are mega money in terms of they're the biggest earners in boxing. You're able to box, do the commercials, box, go on TV shows, and still keep it at like a really intense level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it's mad. Like, yeah, it's just baffling to me. Like, in terms of not even just about boxer, but generally when promoters have fighters like that, you ask them to bring everything else. They're good at boxing, but they bring everything else. You've got to maybe show them, pay them back a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm not even trying to. I'm not being rude to Jamie TKV, but it's just if you look at, especially if you look at it's more the quantity of fighters you've got in male divisions. It's going to take. Jamie's got a long way to go before he's touching titles, right? So
Yeah,
his fight is
he's
against somebody of equal measure, but it's a long way before he does that. Women's
it's
boxing
hard.
and where Francesca Hennessy is right now, she's got a lot closer. So you want her
I,
higher up on the
yeah,
cards, surely. Like I don't, even from like a business point of view, I don't see the benefit of having her lower when you're then going to turn around and tell fans, oh, by the way, she's fighting for a world title, and they're going to go, what? She was the third fight in the night. What's going on? You can't do that.
Bradley knows best in it. Like, so he trains her every day. He's with her, knows her a lot better than I do in it. But I'm
Yeah,
saying from the outside, Bradley will probably say like she you know she's learning, she's building, she's getting the experience, and she is. But when we start talking about her going 8, 9, and 0, because I believe she will,
yeah,
she's now in conversations for world titles already. 8, 9, and 0.
yeah. And
She's
that's how
20
it is
years
in
old,
women's divisions. Yeah,
and Shannon Courtney, who I think she was going. There was a lot of back and forth between them.
Yeah.
Fran Hennessy won her fight. Shannon Courtney lost. Shannon Courtney, sorry, is it? Shannon
Yeah,
Courtney,
yeah.
yeah.
Shannon Courtney
Lost her
lost.
fight. Lost her fight. She probably needs Fran a bit more than maybe Fran needs her right now. The fight probably will happen at some point, but you've also got to win in the ring as well to warrant having these fights. Or
I
for
still
that
think
fight,
that
it don't
happens
make sense.
next. I think that happens next.
I don't think it does because Shannon's just lost her fight. So it's like
But I
you
think
could.
Shannon Courtney's her name, her stock has dropped so low now that she needs Francesca Hennessy.
Do you know what though?
Francesca Hennessy can then go and say she's beat a former world champion.
I got to be fair. I got to be fair to her in the sense that obviously the name of the stock drop in the stock is obviously because of the personal issues she went through in her life and
Yeah,
stuff
which
like
is,
that.
yeah.
And I get it. That's like that it happens. Life happens in it. But in terms of the boxing, like that loss was massive for her because that was a fight she was expected to maybe come out and win.
Yeah.
But then she come out and took a really tough fight, maybe when she wasn't ready, or that's down to boxer in it the way they match the cards. But you look at Fran now; she's going to go into the next fight potentially, and obviously she'll say no, it's going to be 6-0. But I'm saying like she's 5-0 now. Next fight, she wins that, she's 6-0. She's WBA she's continental champion. She's got a title now. She's probably got a higher position on the chessboard than Shannon Courtney, so that fight doesn't happen, in my opinion, anytime soon.
Yeah.
Until Shannon Courtney starts winning and when she boxes again.
True. True. Right. Haney-Garcia.
Big one.
On. Bit of context, we've got the first 3 fights. So, in May of this year, we've got Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero. Big fight. I don't think that's a hard fight, but it's a big fight. And then you've got Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, who kind of is well known for giving Josh Taylor a hard fight, where Taylor knocked him out and became undisputed, unified 4-belt champion.
Yeah.
And we've also got Martin Bakole versus Efe Ajagba on the, I guess, co-main event, because those two are technically the main events, but the way it'll work, Haney-Garcia win, they move on, they fight in October, and what they're saying is that they're going to get a Teofimo Lopez fight announced somewhere in there before
Yeah, you
October.
can't. I'm going to be totally honest with you. If Devin Haney fights 2 times this year, that stinks.
If he fights twice.
Yeah, it stinks.
Hold on. I don't think so, given the context. So they're saying that Teofimo Lopez is going to fight on a Riyadh season at some point, and then he'll fight on the October card. And Jaron Ennis is going to fight on a Riyadh season soon, and then he'll fight on the October card. And it will be Haney-Garcia, co-main, Lopez, Ennis. Winners fight winners in January 2026.
Why can't we see Tio gone?
And then then losers versus losers out of the 2 fight January 26 again. A little 4-man tournament.
For me as a boxing fan, I'm going to be honest with you, the bigger fights. I want to see Haney fight Tio and Garcia. We know Garcia is going to happen if he comes out and wins.
Yeah.
If Haney loses that fight, I think that fight loses a lot of interest. Garcia and
I don't think it happens, from what I understand.
um,
They have to win.
I don't see why Haney can't fight Tio in between this fight coming up, and then because when are they fighting? March,
May.
May, July, August.
Oh, actually, let me make sure that's correct.
Because if the fight's earlier, there it makes sense. But I don't know, man. Like I just think it's like the Shakur thing all over again. Like how many times did Shakur fight last year?
I don't know. I mean, he had injury, so
Unfortunate, but obviously we're talking about a guy that's still pound for pound, like top whatever, apparently. And
let's have a look. I don't
so-
think he fought too many times. Maybe once at the start of the year. But yeah, he fought. Oh no, sorry, not the start of the. Not even at the start of the year actually. He fought once. He was meant to fight twice because at the end of the year he was meant to fight Joe Cordina.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. As a boxing fan, that stinks. By the way,
Yeah, it does. It does.
that actually stinks. Like, as in, I can't regard you pound for pound when you're fighting once a year.
Yeah, the last time he was like properly active was 2019. He fought 4 times in a year.
And then since then, how many fights has he had?
Then he fought twice in 2020, twice in 2021, twice in 2022, twice in 2023, once in 24, and 2025 he started early against Floyd Schofield, but he's not even, well, that's next month. That's a month away.
So in the last 2 years, we go back to Tio and that because obviously that is the main point we're talking about. But I do have to mention it because it links. So in the last 2 years, I've seen Shakur Stevenson fight twice, but he's in my pound for pound top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
And my point being, I think, okay, if the fight's in May, then yeah, cool, that makes sense. There's not really much you can do about it. It'd be a bit tight to maybe fit 3 fights in a year. So I stand corrected on that.
Yeah.
But I think moving forward, like take away all the things. I'm just saying the fighters that say they want to be great and the fighters that want to earn money, I think boxing fans want to see people maybe if they're fit and if they're healthy, be able to come out and fight 3 times in a year.
Yeah, when you're that world
I know
champion status 3 times a year, that's where you should be at.
I know obviously that's not where life can get in the way and very other reasons, injuries in camp, injuries when you're training in the off season. But 3 times a year is where we got. We're nearly there with obviously Garcia will get 2 this year, which is quite good considering obviously he's banned. So that'll be quite good for him. Haney obviously is coming back off a year layoff. So 2 times in a year, that makes sense. 2026 though, I need to see these men fight 3 times in a year. That listen, if you're asking me, the paying fan, who, if you go and buy a pay-per-view subscription or you go and buy a ticket to the fight, you want to see this 3 times a year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you pay for a season ticket, yeah, at your football club, yeah, you pay for the whole season, but you only get half. But you get 16 games in, but you've paid for the whole season, or no, because it'll be a home season ticket. Yeah, let me land, Connor. A home season ticket.
Yeah.
Your ticket pretty much covers what 16, 14 games, 14 games. The home tickets. Yeah, you get thereabouts. You get half. You get half of that, and they turn around and say, "Nah, you can't have the other half." Do you know what I mean? You ain't get your value for money.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. So I think,
Okay.
yeah, man. But and this is where Turkey comes in. So we'll see in
But
it. I believe.
that's what I was going to say. Normally, you'd be bang on. It's not, it's not enough. In this case, Garcia's unbanned in April, so that's why they're fighting in May, early May, because he's unbanned on April 25th. Fighting early May, and then outcome of that fight, we go straight October, where we've got hopefully Haney-Garcia main event, Lopez Ennis co-main event, huge fights. The winners of those fight each other. The winner of Haney-Garcia fights the winner of Lopez Ennis. No rematches after that. They just fight January, and the losers fight January, and they have a little tournament, and they're saying that potentially they would do another one if it made sense after that. They'd have another one where they fight, or get somebody else involved. If that were to happen, we're potentially talking about, in the 12-month period between Garcia getting unbanned and these events can actually go ahead, potentially you're seeing them fight 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, Turkey can come into it. And that's where he comes in and he actually sorts this shit out. But you are right, at the moment, I mean, Shakur is not fighting enough. I want to see him out 3 times this year minimum.
Greeny's out here telling me, I'm going to at Greeny now, and I'm going to put this reel up, Connor, and we can agree on this. Greeny would tell you Shakur is one of the best boxers he's seen, yeah?
Yeah.
That's fine, but I'm judging him off 2 performances in 2 years. I know Shakur is a good boxer, but then for me to turn around and say he's the best, do you know what I mean? That you've got to give me a bit more, man.
Yeah, it's
And in
activity.
terms of, and you're convincing us you're the best, but it's frustrating. You're fighting twice in 2 years. I know
Yeah,
what Shakur does technically, and I know the purists are going to say obviously what he does well in the ring, and I agree with them. To be fair, I just don't see it enough, and I don't see it enough to warrant him being in a pound for pound list above guys who are fighting 2, 3 times a year.
yeah, yeah. And their level as
Two,
well. You know, with all respect in the world, Shakur's not fought the top level. I mean,
this is the other
I
thing
feel
as
like
well.
it's since Oscar Valdez. Okay, Robson Conchal, Edwin De Los Santos, Artem Herrera. They're not. We were talking the real like top level last fight he fought was Robson Conchal, and then before that, right, Oscar. I mean, Oscar Valdez undefeated at the time. That was huge. But let's look at where Shishiro Yoshino has done nothing. We're talking Robson Conchal, Oscar Valdez in 2022. That's his year, right? That's when he beat the two of them. That's when we were like, oh, okay, this guy's good.
Yeah,
He will look brilliant against Floyd Schofield. I'm convinced of it because Schofield comes out to fight, and that suits Shakur. Shakur will counter him. He may even finish him, and we will all be sat there going, "Oh my god!" And he will get put in top 10 pound for pound list, which is probably where he deserves to be. But we still need to see him in there against other people. Like I still need to see him in there against. I want him involved in the Haney-Garcia, Lopez, Ennis fights.
mm.
I also don't know how Ennis even works into that because Ennis is welterweight. Are they all going up? I don't mind. I mean, they should really all go up because none of them can really make 140 with comfort, except Lopez. But even he can't really.
Well,
But
I need to see Ennis and Crawford, man.
Ennis Crawford, I don't think we're ever getting Ennis Crawford.
Because I'm saying, as much as we're hanging on to the fact that Turkey's confident he can make this Canelo and Crawford fight, what I don't want to watch, I'm going to be brutally honest with you,
Yeah,
is a Fury Wilder thing again. I don't want to see them man fight 3 times.
yeah,
Um, I really don't. And to be fair, if you're talking about you're talking about belts or they're moving up, and Canelo beats Crawford. Obviously, I don't think it warrants a rematch. Probably, I mean, I'm assuming the belts are going to be on the line for that fight.
yeah,
But then, have the boards allowed that? There's just so many ins and outs of it. But you see why I say boxing so. This side of boxing confuses me because there's so much politics behind it. Because in one essence, you've got Crawford who doesn't fight as much nowadays. I'll be honest with you, maybe because of age. To be honest, he's been fighting a long time, but he's already at the pinnacle of where he can be. He's done it all. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So now he can kind of warrant doing whatever he wants.
yeah. Of
Um,
course.
but obviously, he's moving up in weight to fight Canelo. So are the boards allowing that to be for the titles? Because we were talking about it, the IBF were quick to take Ellis Zoro out of the fight because he wasn't ranked by the IBF against Jay Opateo.
Yeah, but
I know it's different, and I know there's a lot more money involved. But my point being
I agree
is
with your point. It shouldn't technically, on the rules, if the rules should be for everyone, which they should, it shouldn't technically be for a title. But we're talking about Crawford, who's a two-time unified undisputed
no,
champion. I mean,
facts, 100%. But I'm just interested because I'm just saying I'm interested to see how that work pans out because if Canelo does beat Crawford, do you know what I mean? Crawford will earn a lot of money from that fight. I think it'll be very hard for him to go on and push on fighting unless it
yeah,
financially makes sense. Crawford's at that point now,
yeah, yeah. He
and
fights once a year.
Canelo's just a monster in it, so he just fight anyone. He don't care. But
Yeah, Canelo will still
there's
fight 3 times a year and just take his cash and go. Like
yeah,
that's what he does. Um, Haney Garcia I think Garcia will knock out Romero in about 3 rounds. Don't see that
Flash,
being a
man.
problem.
Garcia's too much. I'm telling you, he's too
Yeah,
much. Roids or no roids, he's too much.
he's too good for Rolly Romero. And
Hmm.
Haney will, I think, will box the head off Ramirez. But it'll be two very different performances. Garcia will look like an animal, and I think he'll just make Romero look silly. He'll make him do a little jig, little dance. Haney will just look slick and outbox Ramirez. That's my prediction. And we've not even spoken about Bacoli Jagba, which, to be fair, I think we're both in agreement that Bacoli will just wipe a Jagba off the face of the earth, right? With all respect.
I can't lie to you. In terms of heavyweight boxing, Bacoli will beat a Jagbar, yes.
Yeah.
Is that the best fight I want to see? No.
No, but it's
I'm
for the
saying
IBF mandatory. It sets stuff up,
slap
doesn't it?
in Moses Atuma with these man now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying that he'll beat a lot of these. Oh, do you know what it is? Yeah, people don't want to listen, but I said it before. The guy does things in the ring that I just don't see other heavyweights doing.
He gives Bacoli problems.
Switches, jabs to the bottom, jabs to the way, the variation in punches and how quick he does them and how he moves for a heavyweight.
And the
But
power. He's not just moving around the ring and creating an angle and then hitting you with something and you're like, oh, this is alright.
crazy.
It's heavyweight power, but he's moving not like a middleweight, like a lightweight. But
This is
big.
the problem.
He's a natural heavyweight. Yeah, he's
That's a hard. Do you know what it is? Yeah, you know what people would disagree with me. I'm not saying Atuma now because I know he's got to build his experience.
of course.
But you see, once he gets there, I think he's all wrong for guys like Daniel Dubois because that's the era that he's going to be fighting in when he gets older because of age, right? I think he's all wrong for these big heavyweights because they're just not physically. They might be a bit bigger than him, stronger than him, but again, this is like this is. Do you know what this is like? This is like Usyk coming into the division and fighting these big guys.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's on the same level as Usyk, so you lot calm down, yeah? Not yet, anyway. But I'm saying because of the way he is, his size, how he moves, he don't move like a heavyweight. That's a big problem. Like there's few fighters that do that, and do you know what I mean? Obviously, you can argue on the one scale that Fury, the way he moves, that's a big man who can move.
Yeah, but with Fury, we're talking about like a 6'9", 250, 260, 70 pound guy who's moving around the ring like that, and we're like, what? How is he doing that? With Moses, we're talking about a guy that's 6'4". He's like Joshua kind of size, and then we're going. Fury was impressive because he was just a giant. Moses is a big natural heavyweight, but he moves like Usyk. It's less impressive with Usyk to see him move like that because we're like, well, he's smaller. But actually, with Usyk, what's impressive is how strong he is. Moses has the best of both. He is the best heavyweight prospect since Mike Tyson, and that's not an overstatement because nobody else has come into the division and been. We're looking at him already, and we're going. I can see how he beats everyone apart from Usyk because I think Usyk is just too much.
I think by the time he gets to that point, Usyk will be retired anyway.
They're never going to fight. They asked Moses about this earlier in the week, and Moses went, "Why would he fight me?" And it's true. Why would he? It's a risk. There's not enough money in it.
Let me ask you. I'll ask you a question though. When Moses gets to the pinnacle of where I think he's capable of getting to, and then there's a collision course. Do you know what I think will be a great fight to watch because they're both just to their style, and he's going to move up as well at some point. Him and Jay Patel. When Moses has got the experience, and he wins world titles, and Jay Patel unifies the division, however long that will be, because I think Moses will get fast tracked because he's just knocking these guys out too quick. So he has to move up.
In title fights.
He'll have to move up.
Minimum.
Moses will have to move up quick because he's dismantling these guys too quickly.
Yeah.
That it's getting to a point where you know what I mean. His coaches might even turn around and say, "Listen, just couple of rounds. Let's practice a few things before you knock him out." Like it's getting like that. That's what it's looking like from the outside. Jay Patel, obviously, for me, is on course to. He's got to win. He's got to win the titles in his respective division, but he wants to move up to heavyweight one day. He's made that clear.
Yeah. I'll be completely honest. The way I look at it, Moses is too big, too strong, and too quick for Jay.
Mm.
Not right now.
Future
But
Moses.
future Moses is just. I mean, that's a scary thought. We're talking about one of the best heavyweights ever, just on
Do you know what?
potential.
Yeah, I'd actually have to ask. Go on. I'm gonna ask someone about this still. But
But
yeah. Carry on.
we're
Carry
talking
on.
as a potential here, from what we've seen. We're talking about one of the best ever. That's where he can go. We're not talking about someone who's just a big puncher. He's a huge puncher. We're not talking about someone who just moves quick. He can move quick or create angles. He creates angles. His IQ is through the roof, and he's 20, just turned 20. Is he going to beat Mike Tyson's record? No, he's not, because the belts are all tied into one fighter, and then Dubois already got a fight lined up in a month's time, and it's a hard fight that he could lose. I know Moses isn't mandatory for either belt, so for any belt, so he's not getting the fight before then, unless there's a pull-out, unless there's something else. So the sensible thing for him to do is keep himself ready, but realistically, he's an animal. He's an absolute animal. And he gives anyone a problem. He does give Usyk a problem, but I think Usyk solves that problem. I don't have anything else to add for boxing this week, but I know you're doing something. I don't know if that's
What's that?
boxing this week. If you got anything else to add, I'm thinking we've
I
covered
have got
everything.
I've got something to add, man.
Go
Listen, guys, you need to come over to the new channel. Have to come over. Subscribe, like, share. We're here every week. It's polished now, Connor. How much are we from completion? 90%?
85.
85.
85.
So we're going to be at 100 in the next couple of
We
weeks.
got a lot more we can do. 85.
And we're going to be talking about that. But we're going to be doing other things. We're going to try and bring back the reaction videos as well. We're going to start working on the channel.
Yeah.
Bring you back more content. We should start doing that again, Connor, to be
Definitely.
fair. We'll figure out how to
we
do
just
it.
need to work out what's happened with some of those. I mean, I don't know why.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But like I said to you, this show is every Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Same time, same place. I'm in my bedroom. Connor's in his bedroom.
Yeah.
Connor's in Brighton. I'm in London. You know what I mean? But we are looking to get out to some shows this year, bring you some more content, in person interviews, different. Yeah, man. Just everything. So, you know, we thank you for all your support as always. We look forward to it, man. We enjoy this every week, Connor, innit?
Yeah. Every week. And we got a lot to do. We got a lot to go. We're live on Instagram now. TikTok, I think we have to hit the 1,000 first. It doesn't seem to like the whole trying thing before. So TikTok, we've got to build. So if you're watching a clip on TikTok, follow. I mean, I don't know if this will make it in the clip, but follow anyway. Instagram, we're live on. If you don't feel like watching it on your laptop, your PC, your TV, or even your phone on horizontal, well, go watch us vertically. We're everywhere, man. You can't escape us. So watch, follow, subscribe, like, share if you want to share, comment, get involved. From next week, we are polished to the point where we are going to start growing much faster, hopefully. We'll see. And at that point, you want to get involved. Well, you want to get involved now, but you want to get involved then. But for this week, we are done. And I've just noticed I've got food on my hand, and I'm hoping that's not been there the whole time, because that's embarrassing. So let's end this so I can go sort that shit out.
Connor can't eat properly and like, share, and subscribe before you end up in the mud.